I have been on my own health and fitness journey for the last 8 years of my life, starting at 14 years old and now at 21, almost 22 years old, right? And I genuinely believe that I could have achieved these same results that I have now in about 4 or 5 years, again, instead of 8, simply if I knew exactly what I know now back then. Motivation and self-discipline has never been an issue for me, right? Just starting out, I was, hungry. All I wanted to do was see results with my physique and with my health. So that was never an issue for me. But over these last 8 years, I have learned so much from my own experience going throughout my own fitness journey, but also from my clients' journeys, right? And the issues that we've had to help them work through. I've learned so much in these last 8 years. And so my point is motivation and discipline. It's not like I needed more of that in the beginning. I had all of the motivation I needed. It was more about the system and the knowledge when it came to health and fitness that I believe if I had back then, I would have achieved results so much faster. My name is Ben Kump. I'm the founder of Legacy Fitness Coaching, working with hundreds of men over the age of 35 years old, reclaim their edge, reverse their metabolic age, and perform 10 plus years younger. And today, I'm going to be breaking down the exact system that I would follow myself if I was stripped of what I have now and I had to completely restart my health and fitness journey. I'll be breaking this system down in 3 simple parts. The first one is, of course, sleep and recovery. Number 2 is going to be nutrition. And number 3 is going to be resistance training and my cardio structure, right? All of these 3 main elements that are the most important parts of actually achieving these great results with your health and physique, right? So without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off with the most important piece of health, fitness, performance, and longevity, nothing I knew about back then, which is sleep and recovery architecture, right? Again, if this is not dialed in, if you have poor recovery, nothing else works. Even if you have the best nutrition and you're pushing yourself beyond your limits in the gym, it doesn't matter without proper recovery. And again, this is nothing. I did not know anything about this when I first started out at 14 years old, right? And so if I had to restart, I would start with dialing in my recovery. And how I would do this is in 3 simple parts, all right? And the first piece to that is simply just setting specific sleep and wake times. So going to sleep at the same time around every single day, give or take 30 minutes, and then waking up again at the same time every single day. So setting these specific times to wake up and go to sleep, this is just helping my internal clock so that my body can rely on some sort of consistency and know when it's supposed to be dialing or winding down and going to sleep. So that's that first part, setting these specific sleep and wake times. The second part, and what I would do next, is I would stop eating right before bed. So again, in the beginning of my journey, all I wanted to do was bulk up and gain muscle mass. And so I knew I needed to eat a lot of food. And so part of my nutritional plan every single day was to eat a peanut butter and honey sandwich with a protein shake every single night right before I went to bed, right? 30 minutes before I went to bed. And I thought this was great and it was helping me gain weight, right? But it was affecting my sleep quality tremendously, and I had no idea, right? And so eating too close to bedtime, especially if it's a carb-heavy meal, so a lot of carbohydrates, that's double trouble right there, and exactly what I was doing, affecting my sleep quality, right? It's going to spike my glucose levels during my sleep, but then also sleep is not for digestion, right? And so I just ate a bunch of food. My body's trying to digest all of that food, but I'm also trying to go to sleep. And so that's also affecting my sleep quality. And the second piece that I would change here. Third is simply waking up and going outside every day, exposing my eyes to the sunlight, right? This sets my circadian rhythm in my mind. It tells my mind, okay, the sun's up, it's time to wake up, it's time to work, it's time to be active, right? Because then when the sun goes down, in the PM later on in the afternoon, my brain is going to know, okay, the sun's going down, it's nighttime, now it's time to go to bed. And so it's setting my circadian rhythm with the sunlight. It's also setting my cortisol rhythm, but we're not going to get into that today, right? That's another video. But again, pairing this, getting the sunlight in the morning, pairing that with also consistent sleep and wake times, that is the perfect way to set that internal clock in your mind and for your body, for being able to fall asleep easily at night, staying asleep and getting high quality sleep, and most importantly, focusing on my recovery. So that was all about sleep and recovery, right? Dialing that in, and that's the first element. After this comes the nutrition aspect. And of course, back then, I knew how important macronutrients were, right? Protein, carbs, and fats. I knew I needed to obviously ensure I was getting enough of each of these and not just focusing on my caloric intake every day, right? But the biggest mistake I was making that a lot of people make out there is I was overeating protein, right? I heard, okay, if I want to gain as much muscle mass as possible, I need to eat just as much protein as I possibly can. That's not the way to go about it, right? Your body really isn't going to do anything with anything more than 1 gram per pound of body weight. I kind of stick at 0.8 grams per pound of body weight of protein intake, right? Because again, anything more than that, it's really not going to help you. And so what you want to do is you want to stay within that 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight with protein. Make sure that you're getting enough fats, of course, but then the rest of your calories, put the rest of those calories towards carbohydrates, literally consuming energy so that I could perform better in the gym and just have more energy throughout the day. After this, I would focus not just on macronutrient consumption, but overall nutritional timing, right? And so this means proper carbohydrate intake before a workout, right? Maybe an hour or two before so that you have that pre-workout energy, right? I'm not having to rely on any pre-workout BS, right? I can get it from my nutrition. But of course, carbohydrates before the workout, carbohydrates and protein after the workout, making sure that I don't consume any fats in that window of my workout for the day, because that's just going to slow down digestion. Before and after a workout, I want to absorb those carbohydrates and protein, all of those nutrients there. And so then again, comes with the fats. I would make sure to keep those more for the morning. If I was lifting in the afternoon, I would consume a good amount of fats for the day in the morning for breakfast. But if I was working out in the morning, I would do a very carb heavy meal in the morning for energy, carbs after, and then save my fats for later on in the day, right? And so nutritional timing is just as important, maybe, right? Of course, maybe not exactly, but is very important in addition to, of course, overall macronutrient consumption. So eating less protein, right? Nutritional timing, and then with nutrition, here comes water intake. I was horrible with water intake starting my fitness journey. And I was an athlete as well. I've been an athlete since I was 5, right? But I've never really focused on proper water consumption until about 2 years ago, maybe. Right. And it's because, of course, like anything on this list that I've talked about, I knew it was important, but not the level of importance, not exactly how it was going to affect my performance, affect the result I was going to get. Right. And with water intake, of course, I knew it was important. I would try and drink, as much as I could before a soccer game that I had later on in the day or on the weekend. Right. I knew it was important, but I never tracked it. And so once I started tracking, I saw that I was only consuming about 80 to 100 fluid ounces a day. That's horrible, right? I'm a man, I'm a male, I'm about 170, 180 pounds, depending on the time period, right? And you need to consume a little bit over a gallon, which is about 135 fluid ounces. That's optimal right there. So I was under consuming water intake. I was technically dehydrated every single day and I didn't know it. And in return, that was affecting the results I was getting, right? That was affecting my performance and my energy levels, my output in the gym when working out, right? And so water intake is this last piece here with nutrition that I want to share with you. Track it. Start tracking it. You're going to be surprised about how much you're not drinking, right? Sticking only at 100 fluid ounces, you make that difference, right? And if one of your goals is to lose weight, is to lose fat, water intake is such a key element that nobody thinks about. And I promise you will make the difference. And you're going to start seeing that number on the scale go down simply by just drinking more water. The last piece here for this video and the breakdown of the exact system I would follow if I had to completely restart and fully optimize my health in the beginning, now comes the workouts and my cardio structure. Now, I hope you realize I didn't even talk about the workouts, which everyone seems to think is the most important part when it comes to your health. I'm not even talking about the workouts until just now, right? Sleep and recovery is number one. Next comes nutrition, dialing in nutritional precision. Now finally comes the workouts, because without the other two, workouts don't even matter. You're just wasting your time. All right, but let's get into it. First off with workouts, then we'll talk a little bit about cardio. The biggest change I would make with my workout structure, back then, I would be in the gym for 2 hours. I couldn't even tell you how many sets and how many exercises I was doing every workout for each muscle group. Way too much, right? And so what I would change is going from high volume to high intensity and low volume. Right. So with my workouts, I would only pick, about 3 or 4 exercises for the whole workout for each muscle group. And then I would only do maybe 3 sets, but primarily 2 sets per exercise. And that intensity for each set is balls to the wall, right? As hard as I possibly can for 2 sets. And that's it, moving on to the next exercise. And that's exactly what I do now, right? I'm only in the gym for about 60 minutes now. Very efficient, very effective, high intensity, low volume, and I'm getting the best results now 7.5 years later than when I started, simply because I'm not overworking myself. So that's the simplest change I would make for my workout structure. When it came to my cardio, like I said, I was an athlete and I wanted to, I'm a soccer player, right? So I knew how important running was, and I needed to improve my cardiovascular system, but I was just running 2 to 3 miles per day, right? I hated running long distance, but I knew running 1 mile a day wasn't going to do anything. So I thought, okay, 2 or 3, and it would help me, right? I could tell that it was making a difference, but it was not the right structure. And so what I would do is about 3 zone 2 workouts, cardio sessions per week, and then 2 zone 4 and 1 zone 5 sessions, right? So that's low intensity cardio with the zone 2s, and then higher intensity cardio with the zone 4 and zone 5s. This way, I'm still building my endurance level, being able to run for longer, but not overdoing that. If you're just doing high intensity cardio sessions every day, you're actually doing more harm than good on your body. And so more volume with the lower intensity, right? And then going hard 2 to 3 times per week with higher intensity cardio sessions. Very, very simple right there. Hopefully that makes sense with the cardio. If you have any questions about how to structure cardio with proper zones, go to my Instagram and DM me the word zone, right? And I can explain it a little bit better, but that's all I want to say for this video because it's a simple topic to understand. But there you have it. Right? Everything. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Of course, there are some smaller elements that I would change, but if I had to tell somebody, in the last 10 minutes of exactly how I would start a health and fitness journey to get on the best foot possible and fully optimize things in the beginning so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did, that is exactly what I would say. Focusing on those 3 elements, starting with sleep, then coming nutrition, and then after that, focusing on how to properly structure workouts and cardio regimens. And so hopefully all of it made sense. But kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, some people's biggest struggle when it comes to seeing progress with their health is motivation, is self-discipline, just simply being able to get these daily inputs done. But like I said, that was never my issue in the beginning. My issue in the beginning was having all of these great levels of motivation and self-discipline, but pointing that discipline at the wrong inputs, working out too much, right? Not focusing on recovery, not drinking enough water, overeating protein. I had the discipline, but I was pointing it at the wrong things. And so again, if I had to restart, it would be about the system and the knowledge aspect that I would then change and be able to get the best results much faster than I achieved now. If you've been taking care of your health for years now, but you feel like you may be in the position I was, a lot of self-discipline, a lot of motivation, but not the best structure and system, go to my Instagram and DM me the word performance, all right? That'll tell me that you watched this specific video and that you're interested in learning how you can implement the right systems into your own personal health and fitness journey and fully optimize your health, getting the best results. So make sure to do that if you're interested. Also make sure to subscribe for more valuable videos just like this. I'll see you in the next one.